Welcome to AVoice for Creators. I'm your host, Daniel Norton. Today I want to read and talk about a message I got on Discord. If you guys would like to reach out to the show, you can find a link in the show notes to reach out to me on Discord. Just join my Discord and reach out to me. And you can also call in if you want to hear your actual voice on the show. So this is from Brento73. The first paragraph is just them apologizing that they hadn't called in before. They keep forgetting and they want to call in, so they decide to write me a note instead. Maybe that's easier for most people, so feel free to just write a note. You don't have to call. Okay, so here we go. This is from them. I was watching TikTok the other day, and there was a video of a person throwing a small tablet in the air and shooting it with a bow, an arrow. I got thinking about it and how knowing how to throw it just right is probably a large part of the trick. I remember reading a book many years ago on juggling. He never got the hang of it. And they said that people watch the catch, but getting the throw correct is what really matters. If you throw it right, the catch should be easy. I feel like photography is a lot like this. People see someone just pushing a button and assume that it's no different than all the pics they snap on their phone. What they miss, what they don't see or saw and didn't recognize, is the setup for the shot. All the hours spent learning the camera, all the TFP shots, all the time on that day, for example, making adjustments so that the series of corporate headshots looks totally consistent. The trick already happened. Pushing the button is just the reveal. This is a really great way to look at this, and I 100% agree. And this is the last example there with the corporate is super interesting, right? Because again, ideally, right, the client is not seeing all the struggle. You know, they're just seeing the final result. What's interesting is, like, for instance, when I do live streams on Anorama, I go slowly and I talk about each piece. But the reality is that when I actually do shots like this for clients, it takes me like 2 minutes to set it up because I've done it so many times. And this is the point. This is what we want to get to. This is where it becomes seamless, right? That's it. The trick is already done, as I said. It's like the trick is learning the skills, practicing the lighting, being just in the field more, shooting, just experience. This gets us to a point where what we do seems easy. And so many times you will see something where multiple people will shoot with the same setup. Like if you go to one of these open shoots or something, and you'll see vastly different results, even though the lighting is the same, the model's the same, because that person just has more experience. Some people would start off with maybe a little bit more of a natural eye for things. There's no doubt there. But what it comes down to in the end usually is experience. Experience plus innate talent will get you super far. Experience plus just being an average person will get you almost as far, right? Because that's what you need. You need to just do stuff. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And then it just looks more and more seamless. So I think that's a really great point. I think what we want to do is not forget when we see things that there's a lot more to it than we observe on the surface. This is true as we are doing something and we can recognize that people might think that it's very surface level. So if we're negotiating a job or whatever, we need to make sure that it's clear to them that's not the case. But also if you're struggling and you're looking at something and you see a photographer in a video or whatever in a documentary and it seems like what they're doing is nothing, but they're producing work that is so good and you're just like, what is this? I'm terrible. Why am I not getting these results? They're not doing anything. Yeah, chances are they did it all before you saw them. They put in the labor, the work, the effort. They put their lifeblood, as it would be, into it. And that's why when the time comes, they can execute on demand every time. And this is ultimately the point we want to get to as artists. We want to be able to just do the stuff that's in our head. But it doesn't just work that way, right? You can have these great ideas. You can really want to do these ideas. But until you put in the labor, the practice to become skilled at it, it's going to be a struggle. And that's okay, because that struggle will teach you what's important. It will teach you what you really want to do. It'll teach you what you really want to pursue and what you don't really want to pursue. As you struggle, as you try different things, you'll see what works for you, what doesn't, what you're willing to put the time in to learn, what you're not. And this is part of again, going back to my whole narrowing down things, this helps us narrow down, because when we first start shooting, we love everything. But then we start thinking, well, you know what? It's way too much work to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go shoot landscapes when I don't even really enjoy them that much. I just look at them a couple times on my phone and never look at them again. But I get a great feeling when I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and drive to the beach and make a portrait at sunrise. So then you know I like doing portraits, or maybe vice versa. Maybe you don't want to get up that early and deal with people and you like shooting landscapes because you don't have to think about it. You can go camp the night before. You don't have to worry about any of that. You will learn what you're willing to do and that will help you get to the point where you will be the master of your thing, the thing that is you, right? Your style, your craft, your focus, your art. So yeah, this is it, right? It's at least 80% about the throw. The catch is the catch. So let me know what you guys think. I'm really curious. I think this is a really good point of view, and I agree with it. Again, you can send me a message like they did using Discord. You could also leave a voice message by following the link in the show notes. Down in the show notes, you'll also find a link to my Patreon if you want to support the podcast that way. Also, if you want to support the podcast in other ways, please do rate and review the podcast on the service of your choice. Usually Apple is the one that makes the most difference. So if you're on Apple, if not, if you never listen to this on Apple, but you have access to that, sign up for Apple Podcasts, give it a rating or a review. Thanks. I'll talk to you soon.